Day 3 of the Battle of Gettysburg was July 3, 1863, and it was the final day of the battle. Union troops were attacked by a massive artillery assault on the Cemetery Ridge. On the morning of the battle, General Longstreet advised Lee not to fight. However, Lee disregarded Longstreet's concerns and continued to prepare for the assault on Cemetery Ridge. On the afternoon of July 3rd, the Confederate troops began their assault on the Union center. The Confederate soldiers marched across an open field, which made them easy targets for the Union artillery and riflemen. The Union forces initially held their fire until the Confederates were within range, and then unleashed a devastating barrage.
On the battlefield, many monuments are scattered throughout to help tell the story of individual regiments. This rock is the 20th Massachusetts Infantry's monument, commanded by Winfield Scott Hancock. The infantry came from Cambridge, comprised of Harvard students. The regiment was ordered under Lieutenant Colonel Sumner Payne, a very patriotic Harvard student who was 18 at the time. The infantry formed a line with 400 men to defend in Pickett's charge. As Confederate soldiers got close, Payne got shot in the thigh with a minie ball. At this moment, he got down on one knee and put his sword in the ground and continued to encourage his men. His last words were, "Isn't it glorious, men, isn't it glorious?" as a shell burst right above his head. The idea of the glory of war and its manhood of it plays a large role in what took place. As a symbol of the lost youth of these boys that sacrificed for the war, they went back to Cambridge and brought this rock that they used to play on as children from the playground as a monument to symbolize sacrifice of the youth that died for the cause. Besides visiting the battlefield, we also visited the Pickett Star Cyclorama in Gettysburg National Military Park Museum and Visitor Center.
The Pickett Chart Cyclorama is a massive painting that measures 42 feet high and 377 feet in circumference. The first part of the cyclorama to notice is that Lincoln is also part of the painting, with his face colored white showing that he is dead. Lincoln is not actually at the Battle of Gettysburg himself, but the painting shows tribute to him since he was assassinated just a few days after the Civil War had ended.
The second highlight of the cyclorama is General Hancock on his black horse. During Pickett's charge, General Hancock was wounded by a bullet that struck his saddle and bruised his thigh. Despite his injury, he continued to direct the Union troops and helped to repel the Confederate assault. Another highlight of the cyclorama is General Lewis Armistead. In the painting, it depicts Lewis being arrested on a horse and being shot. However, this is not true. The real story behind Armistead was that he was on foot and had a hat on his sword so men could see him because the flag had fallen. In the Visitor Center, there was also a museum exhibit that covered all days of the Battle of Gettysburg.
The Day 3 exhibit was extremely helpful and shaped our understanding of the battle. The various displays of clothing and soldiers helped us imagine what soldiers looked and felt like in the battle with their uniforms and muskets. In addition, the diagrams of the battlefields showed us where each side stood its ground and how the Confederates attacked the Union on Day 3 of the battle. The exhibit was easy to understand because of its diagrams and displays of information being put in chronological order.
Lastly, we reflected on being able to visit the site where the battle took place.
Being on the actual battlefield provided us with a better understanding of the scale and perspective on the size and scope of the charge. Seeing it in person allowed us to see the vast distance the Confederate soldiers had to cross and the difficulty of crossing open ground while being fired upon by the Union Army. The hilltops provided strategic advantages for the Union Army, and the open fields made it difficult for the Confederate Army to advance.
Standing on the field where Pickett's charge took place evoked a sense of historical significance and remembrance. It inspired reflection on the bravery and sacrifice of those who fought and died on that field.